And so sittercity.com was this really cool idea about a dozen folks at the company when I joined. And it was Genevieve Thiers, who was the founder and CEO, another total badass woman. And it was basically like Tinder or like Match.com for finding the right babysitter or nanny. And so I joined as, kind of partnerships, business development person, super excited, on the founding team. But she had this nugget of an idea, which was like, hey, what if we could have employers fund this? So Sitter City is like a childcare benefit. And so a couple months in, I said, Genevieve, I think that's not just an idea. I think that's like a business. Like I would like to build that startup within this startup. And so I was so excited about it. And she said, go for it. So we went out and we built a value proposition really around increasing productivity and decreasing absenteeism for corporates. So there was a real ROI there. And the disruption opportunity was that most, the IBMs of the world were building these $1 million childcare centers at corporate, which helped like 30 parents. And then the parents nationwide had no access to care. So there was a real way for this technology, because it was really a subscription to get access to the website, that could be an equitable employer benefit. So we were extremely successful. We signed on HCA hospital system with 180 hospitals, United Healthcare, MasterCard, lots of phenomenal Fortune 500 clients. And then we took on government. We talked to because the military branches have a real challenge around deployments. And so we talked to the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. And the amazing thing was the Department of Defense stepped up and said, we're going to put a contract out for a cross services contract, which had never, I'm always like in the history of the country, but a child care wide program had never been done by the DoD in the history of the US military. And so this was really amazing. They put it out to contract, and it was tough to win. I was lobbying on the Hill, talking to Senator Durbin, backed, us as a provider. But we got the contract, and then we served 2 million military families across the US. And I'll never forget the day I was at a military spouse award ceremony, and his husband said to me, my wife was deployed in Iraq, and we needed to find a neonatal nurse for our preemie. And we could never do that like with the girl next door. But I was able to go onto Sitter City and literally find a neonatal nurse to care for our baby. And so that was really, I think, the first time that I really felt what it's like to change a life. And I think that was like that nugget of social impact that then ended up growing, when I joined Public Good. And, great kind of ending story from Sitter City. We sold to Bright Horizons, which is a public company, and they are the elephant in the space. They're the leader in employer-sponsored care. And so now employers can get both the childcare center and the access to nationwide childcare at the same time. And the military piece was also, I was really blown away. I met Michelle Obama, Pentagon channel, White House, and I was honored as a civic leader by the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So, and I remember my husband saying, wait a minute, I thought you joined like a babysitting company. What? What's happening here? And I'm like, I know, who knew? But it was big white space, right? I didn't think joining Sitter City was like path to the White House, Michelle Obama. So that theme just continues, but Public Good. So Genevieve's husband was head of technology at Sitter City, and he went off and actually led technology for Obama 2012. So that was an amazing experience for him. And coming out of that, he launched Public Good. So there's a lot of those kind of tech entrepreneurs that launched companies coming out of Obama 2012.